What could possibly go wrong? Well, the car could. A lovely car that I didn't even know really existed. You want to see the wheels? So hello and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Now, following on from the last video in which I shared with you my very first drive in this recently acquired 127,000 mile Mark 7.5 Golf GTD estate, today you're going to join me for a much tougher 160 mile drive, which should prove a true test of this car's reliability and its real world fuel consumption. Can we get close to the official figure of 58.9 miles per gallon? Will we actually make it to our destination on the Lancashire coast? Well, if we do, I'll share with you a preview of the car's new wheels, which I'm collecting from an eBay seller who just happens to be a VW enthusiast. But before we do that, I'd just like to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel, because there'll be lots more great content on this car coming soon, most of which will be relevant to any Mark 7 or 7.5 owner. Right, now let's hit the road. Okay, so this is genuinely my first drive since I came back from the short test drive locally. Mileage is still 127,090. So let's get going. Must remember the glue plugs today. Made me a little bit nervous last time when it took a while for the engine to start, so foot on the brake. Okay, I had the ignition on, so they've obviously done their job. So into reverse. It's all a bit misty up in here. It's all on the outside though. Heated mirrors on. Electric parking brake off. Works so much better than a Porsche one. And I guess let's back all the way off. But yeah, cold. It's 10 degrees, engine stone cold. I can hear it, but it doesn't sound rough. But obviously it's not under load yet, so let's see if we still get that diesel knock. There was a bit off last time. Could be a dirty injector. There's quite a few reports on it. No, sounds better. So we're heading up to Southport, which is on the west coast and just north of Liverpool, south of Blackpool. I was scouring eBay last week, well actually on my first look on eBay, looking for BBS wheels for Golf. And there they were. Now, I'm always a bit wary about buying second-hand wheels because they're often damaged or the tyres aren't very good, and yes, they look cheap on the advert, but once you tot up the cost of refurb and tyres, they're not that cheap. But these ones seem okay. The guy's genuine. He's got a picture of his car with them on. He's got the receipts and all the bolts and everything. What could possibly go wrong? Well, the car could. Probably more likely than the transaction. So yeah, let's just hope we can get there. Okay, so as we go along, I'll report on fuel economy. We've got 175 miles range, or 170 now, typical, but that should get us there. And we'll keep an eye on the MPG, see how well a car with this mileage does. Is it better than it was when it was new, or is it worse? Well, there's only one way to find out. 160 miles. I've cleaned the steering wheel and it's a lot less shiny now. It's still a little bit shiny, but maybe not that much different to new, so that's good. Okay, let's munch the miles in my Mark 7.5 Golf GTD estate, the new Volkswagen. Okay, so a few miles in, I'm getting the GTD thing now. I'm wafting along on torque in 7th gear, 1500 RPM, adaptive cruise control, doing its thing. And the ride's really kind of good. This road's not perfect. And I'm really happy. This is one of the cheapest cars I bought recently, and the fact that it lets me go to places and do stuff, it enables me to do what I need to do, makes this car worth much more than what I paid for it, which wasn't an awful lot. Listen to that. We're on a good bit of road now on these land sale tyres, and it's pretty silent. That's a high mileage diesel. Who knew?
In half a mile, turn left onto Oxford Road.
Okay, so we're just getting on the M69. We're cruising at a steady 70 miles an hour in 7th gear at about 1700 RPM. MPG currently is 47.8, 47.9. So it should start going up now. The engine warmed up ages ago. It's pretty quick to warm up. But yeah, it's 48 now, so this is 48.1. It's liking being warmed up and doing a steady 70 on this motorway. I was hoping it'd be a little higher by now, but anyway, it's early days and it's 11 degrees, so it's not the prime time for doing economy records. But yeah, this is how noisy this car is. 127,000 miles at 70 on cheap tyres. Okay, we're now on the M1 between Leicester and Derby, and we've just hit 50 miles per gallon. To be perfectly honest, it took longer than expected, and I had to turn the aircon off and put the headlights into DRL mode rather than dip beam. So I don't know, maybe I'm expecting too much from the GTD. It's a heavy car and it's well equipped. It's not, you know, Spartan, but when I put the new wheels on, it's going to be worse than that. So yeah, I don't know. Basically seems to do the same sort of MPG at the same sort of speeds as an Up GTI, which, you know, we've got this massive car with every feature you could want. So on that basis, it's great. But I was just hoping for a bit more, but we'll see how we get on as we go along. I am cheating by turning the aircon off, but at least I know it works because the screen mists up and it demists it almost instantly. So that's good because I don't think it's been touched. And at 127,000 miles, that's better than some other cars I could mention. Well, welcome to the A50 Derby Southern Bypass. It's a pretty anonymous road in many ways, but it means something to me because we've got Donington down here, Cork Abbey, the National Trust place just here, and fond memories of Derby car auctions, which are just into Derby up here, because I used to buy cars not dissimilar to this from there, obviously older. I haven't been there for a good 5 or 6 years, and then you'd get them on this dual carriageway and work out if you'd bought a good car or a bad car. And generally, you know, they were pretty good. I have fond memories of buying a silver Golf R32 from there and actually selling it to a guy who lived a few miles from the auction in Derby. Couldn't make it up. So now we're doing 53 to the gallon, still no aircon and still headlights off, using adaptive cruise control, which, to be perfectly honest, is not as efficient as normal cruise control. Okay, you have to interact with it a bit more, but you control it better. It doesn't ram the brakes on when you do that. I never brake when I'm on dual carriages or motorways unless I really have to. But yeah, it's a really good car. Would I rather be in an ID3 right now with a wheel trim missing and the windows all misted up because he's too tight to have the aircon on as well? Probably not. Well guys, welcome to Stoke-on-Trent. So we are 89 miles into the journey, so over halfway, and we've done 58 miles per hour average at 54 to the gallon. I'm in full-on eco mode now, so no aircon, no headlights, but we've got DRLs and we're on eco mode as well. So we've got eco, normal, sport, individual on this car. The only real difference eco seems to make is that it'll coast. So now I'm off the gas because we're in sort of the urban part of Stoke doing 50-ish. There's no gas, we're going downhill, the car's idling. And then back on the gas and it engages the gear again. That's actually what Porsche did in the normal mode, just to get them around the emissions test. Here we have a convoy of interesting cars, very unusual in England, but we have an R with number plate Field A, and in front of it we have Evil Owl. It's a 992 Carrera 4 GTS in gentian blue. Nice. And the driver's wearing a bucket hat. You can tell we're up north. Okay, we're 1 hour 50 into the journey and I'm now on the M6 north of Stoke, and I've managed to find a fault with this car. It's not the car's fault. At some point in its life it's had a windscreen. That's seemingly been done really well. There's no wind noise or leaks, but a common theme is that the installers never put the mirrors back on properly, and now even on this relatively smooth bit of carriageway we've got a little bit of shake. And if you look at the sticker on the windscreen, it doesn't look like it's completely attached. So, but if that's the severity of the faults I can find on this massive miler GTD that actually cost me less than one GT4 ceramic brake disc, then I think we're doing all right. And with a bit of eco help, we're doing 55.7 miles to the gallon, which is much more like it. Yeah, all's good. Sun's come out, got my sunnies on, got my tea, still warm. That's good. I just stopped at Knutsford Services. I've got to say, if you are desperate for the toilets, those are the services to go for, because the toilets, for gents anyway, are just inside the front door, and trust me, that made all the difference for me just then. So yeah, we're up to 58.1 to the gallon, which is good. I've even got the aircon on. Don't know why, because it's still quite cold, 10.5 degrees. Yeah, I do wonder if there was maybe a degree of DPF cleaning, what they call it, regeneration, occurring early on in the drive, and that's why the MPG was down, because it's not so efficient when it does that. It does weird things which, yeah, when they were problematic early in the days of DPF, I know all about. It's not particularly apparent when you drive this that it's doing anything, but that kind of MPG would tie in. I set the tyre pressures as well. They were a little bit low when the car came in, but they're all on 39 now. It's actually 1 psi higher than they should be, just because I'm going to put some weight in the car. Tested out the stereo, important on long drives like this, and actually, bearing in mind it's not Dyne audio, it's bloody brilliant, especially considering we've got a big boot at the back, not like a little hatchback boot, which is probably better for base box, and there's no parcel shelf in there. I've taken it out so I can get the wheels in without scrabbling around. But yeah, I haven't checked the coolant, but everything's good. And even better now, the pesky roadworks are coming to an end. So not far now, ETA's 11:20ish and it's 10:44. So yeah, all good. According to Waze, this road looks quite good. It's a national speed limit, so I think we'll push the boat out and go for a bit of sport mode, or even manual mode on the shifter. The surface isn't much cop, but we're pretty compliant. Don't trust these Lansale tyres though. I've got multi-link rear suspension on this car, which is quite an unusual thing on the estates. I think the GTD is the only one that's over a certain power threshold, and you can certainly feel the difference. Actually, I think 150 might have it as well in the Golf range. In the Leon range, it is the top 184 Mark III Leon, and it feels so good. Yeah, there's roll and we're on cheap tyres, but we're not pushing the limits of the tyres because the actual suspension setup is so good. But it can't make you fly over other cars, unfortunately. Yeah, we've got a Mini. Minis are generally quite easy to drive fast, so responsive and so quiet over these bumps. Only the mirror that's looking a bit shaky. Yeah, it's good, but it can be better, so this series will continue with some suspension mods, which I'm really looking forward to doing, because I think it will make the GTD look good as well, because it'll be a little bit lower. Okay, we're not far away now, about a quarter of an hour, so yeah, I'm just going to kick back and enjoy driving on a road I'm pretty sure I've never driven down before. Okay, just turned up at the destination. Lovely Isaac Blue GTD on the driveway. Done 58.2 to the gallon in 3 hours and 159 miles. So I'll get them in the boot and then I'll show you them. And you can let me know what you think of the new wheels for my GTD. Now, Robert, the guy who's sold me the wheels, has very kindly let me have a quick look at his GTD. And I thought you guys might be interested in it because there are quite a few unusual things about it. Firstly, it's a 3-door. It's in Isaac Blue, which I've kind of forgotten exists. It's like a dark grey with a blue tinge to it, one of my favourite colours. It's a Blueline GTD, which means it comes with 17s. So these were designed mainly for the fleet market because the CO2 was lower because the wheels were smaller. It's got mud flaps. Inside, we've got, believe it or not, leather, which I haven't seen outside of a Golf R on a 7.5. So it's got this perforation, it's got this nice contrast stripe on there. It must have been a very expensive option, I'm imagining a couple of grand. And it's got a manual gearbox as well. So this replaced a GTI that Robert had, primarily because it's that little bit better on fuel and just do quite a few miles. So yeah, a lovely car that I didn't even know really existed. Well, this is a crappy old pump at Morrison's in Southport, but it's got a contactless payment pump system which I've never seen before, so big ups to modders, and I'm remembering to put the right fuel in. Okay, I've left Southport and I'm a bit further down the coast in Crosby. You can just make out the docks at Liverpool down there. It's not a bad day, actually. Anyway, enough of that. You want to see the wheels, so here we go. BBS XR in a sort of platinum silver, 19-inch with Pirelli P0 Nero GT tyres. I've done about 8,000 miles, so they've still got some life in them. And these wheels I've been lusting over for a long time. They are actually BBS's cheapest wheel, but to my eye, they're their prettiest wheel. That's 1,600 quid brand new, and I paid about half that with the tyres, which are Pirelli P0 Nero GTs that have done about 8,000 miles. In the original Rimstyle boxes. So he got them delivered to him from Rimstyle, who I think were the BBS importers. Got all the bolts in there. He even gave me a spare Pirelli tyre. So yeah, can't wait to get them on the car. There'll be another video when I fit them. I did actually use the BBS configurator, pick Golf Estate and stick some on there years ago, and then put that picture on social media, and everybody was really like positive about it. So I'm hoping the same will be true with this car. It'll either really work with the colour or it won't. We'll see how we get on. Right, it's been a long day and it's gone like 1:30 now, so it's time to have some lunch, looking at the sea, which for someone who lives in the Midlands is dream come true, and the Christmas sarnies are back in Tesco, so life couldn't get much better. And I tell you, I might drive more expensive cars a lot of the time, but there's just something about driving something practical and comfortable and economical and just seeing new places like I've never been here before in my life. That's just brilliant, and it reminds you how good cars are and how you don't need something flash really to just see stuff. Yeah, it's nice having a GT4, but actually I think this will do a lot more for me and help me see a lot more things and just enjoy life more than the GT4. Strange, but true. Now, before I sign off, I just want to clarify a couple of things now I'm back home, having done over 350 miles in the car. The first one is to do with reliability. Now, this car did suffer from coolant loss when I knew it before I bought it, and it's quite possible you can do 350 miles and you may be losing coolant, but it may not put the light on. Well, I've just checked the level and I'm pleased to report it's exactly as it was before I left. So the new coolant cap does seem to have done the trick. So that's really good, because apart from that, there's nothing else that I'm concerned about at all. Next up, MPG. Now this is a 2018 model year GTD, and this had an official consumption figure of 58.9 miles per gallon, but this was as a result of the now discredited NEDC test cycle, which was replaced by WLTP for the 2019 model year, and this test sees the figure drop to a more realistic 49.6 miles per gallon. So on that basis, I don't think we did very bad at all. As ever, guys, thanks for watching this Volkswagen video. Keep commenting and keep subscribing, because the next video I'll be fitting the wheels to the GTD, and I'm sure you don't want to miss that. So see you for that one very soon.